On February 8th, 2023, there was a Nintendo Direct. It was filled with a ton of news on DLC for games that have already released. So, let's talk about it. Starting off with my most hyped game of 2023, Pikmin 4. We finally got some gameplay. We got a new Pikmin type revealed. I can't wait to see Arlo make a 5-hour video analyzing this trailer, because he was able to milk 20 minutes out of the Pikmin 4 announcement. Point being, I love a lot of the new enemy designs. I like the fact we have 4 captains once again. In my reaction, I was just talking a ton about a lot of this stuff, and my reaction should be up on my second channel as we speak. So, it's there. If you want to watch it, feel free. But, aside from that, like, genuinely, a lot of the changes they made seem to be nice. It seems to be taking inspiration from Pikmin 2, specifically. Which is concerning in stages. Mostly because I honestly don't want caves to return. I don't like the fact time doesn't progress. Like, the idea of a Pikmin roguelite would be really cool, but it wasn't executed that well. So, I'm hoping they're executed more to the degree of 1 and 3. But either way, this game looks fantastic, and now that we have a release date of July 2023, I think July 21st, I am so excited. So, don't expect any videos throughout the entire summer, because I will be busy 100%ing this. Next up, being everyone's favorite, Bayonetta Origins, and they finally showed what the hell combat looks like in this game, so that's neat. Sure looks interesting. I mean, I think it's gonna nail the helpless child thing quite well. I still really wish you got to actually see how combat played in the short teaser demo Platinum released, because you had to buy an entire separate game for that, so, you know. But that's that. The game looks interesting. I really, really wish we could get a proper demo with, like, combat and all that, because I am quite on the fence regarding this game. Aspects look fun. Aspects look not that interesting to me. Basically, this is one of those instances where it's like, I would really like to see a demo. Speaking of demos, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe just got a demo and a ton of new information. The demo is just, I think, like the first world or two, which, hey, Kirby's Return to Dreamland is fantastic. It's one of my favorite Kirby games. Basically, the only thing I'm not interested about for this re-release / remake is why? I hate King Dedede's new design. I didn't like it in Forgotten Land. I don't like it here. But the Magolor epilogue, adding 20 new levels and a skill system, that just sounds really cool. Like, I already love Return to Dreamland, so I'm instantly interested in this, because I love this game, I love Kirby, this just sounds really fun. It's essentially 20 more levels, a ton of new sub-games. Like, this game was something where it's like, I mean, I love Return to Dreamland, so this game is going to be good, and it's like, what the hell? Why are they adding so much stuff? I'm not complaining, but yes, this is how all remakes should be. Adding like 15 more things that are all separate bullet points to add on the back of the box. Honestly, the back of the box for Return to Dreamland Deluxe can basically just be, it's Kirby Return to Dreamland again. But we added 20 new levels, 15 new sub-games, like 40 hours of content. I know it's going to be less than 40. In reality, it's probably going to be something closer to maybe 3 or 4. But still, and I am including sub-games. It's like, Jesus, you guys just went, here's everything a Kirby fan could ask for. I am a Kirby fan. This is more than I was expecting and more than I could have asked for. I mean, I could have asked for a new 3D game, but I'm fine with rotating between 2D and 3D every entry. Next up, the new amount of emblems coming to Fire Emblem Engage. And, they really loved just shadow dropping stuff, huh? I'm gonna talk about the other one right after this, but the new emblems, I like a few of them. I haven't actually got to play with them yet, I've only done Soren's mission, but Soren, Hector, Veronica, Robin, and Chrom paired together, and Camilla. Look, I'd normally say, why Camilla? Like, I know why. She sells. She makes IS money. But, like, you're calling them the Revelation Emblem, or Emblem of Revelations. The character that's used to represent Revelations is a certain character called Azura, who you had a model for. So, yeah. Point being, I'm not that happy with how they did that. Wave 4 with Fell Xenologue looks really interesting. And I can't comment on a lot of the choices for emblems. I think Veronica's a really interesting choice. Because, one, she's the emblem of Heroes, which means Heroes has representation, which is neat. Kinda wish we got ones for Warriors, Three Hopes, the other spin-offs, but hey, if you guys want it, I'd love to see, like, Emma from Cypher become an emblem in the Fell Xenologue. Because genuinely, I want to know what they do with a Cypher character. So, yeah. I'm probably gonna play the trailer loop because I have a bit to say. Chrom and Robin, perfect sense to pair up. They were the game that introduced pair up. They're a pair. I am completely okay with this. I'm kinda surprised they didn't go with female Robin, because then you can just imply that in whatever timeline these two are from, they're Lucina's parents, because Chrom will have a canon spouse. You can marry whoever you want. It basically just comes down to, if you don't, Lucina will have the same mother no matter what. But I really like the choices. I really like the pairings. Pun not intended. Basically, aside from Camilla, who I questioned, but I know exactly why they did it, because money, I find them really interesting. I find what they showed of Veronica to be really intriguing, with she can literally summon heroes. And the actual, like, stuff they showed in the trailer for that looks very much out of Fire Emblem Heroes, from at least the first few years of the game. I stopped playing during Book 5, for clarification. Now time for the other thing they just shadow dropped this direct. A remake of Metroid Prime! What? Like, this is a good sign for Metroid Prime fans, because I feel like this at least indicates we are close to Prime 4 news. But it is kind of weird to me they had, like, no promotion to this. They just dropped the game in the middle of a direct. I don't think that's a good idea. Metroid is a series that needs the help. Generally, it's not the best-selling series. It's one of the more middling successful series. It's successful enough to keep going, of course, but I don't think just going, oh yeah, by the way, we just dropped an $80 game on the eShop that's a remake of a GameCube game that people have been asking to get ported to the Switch for like 5 years. That's not going to be very enticing to new fans. Or draw in new fans. Were they just hoping Dread would do that? Because if so, the Prime games and the 2D Metroid games are very different. Personally, I'm going to play the Trilogy release because I already own that. Like, I think everyone was expecting to see the next wave for the Booster Course Pass. Albeit, I really like the look of Yoshi's Island. It looks fun and visually, I really like it. While it still looks like a track they probably were making for tour and then just went, oh wait, we can hold this off and pretend like we're doing work, like they did with some other things. Birdo is here! Like, who was expecting Birdo? Because I was not expecting a new character halfway through the DLC. And also, of all characters, yeah, sure, Birdo. Why? Like, Funky Kong's essentially just become the mascot of this series somehow. I'm just surprised it's Birdo. If they were going to add someone, I would have expected someone like Pauline or Funky. Because again, he's the mascot. They're shoving Pauline into everything. The track looks fine. Looks fun. I actually like it visually because it gives me a Yoshi vibe to a degree. A very, like, rounded, soft. Still looks like they made it for tour. So they could easily port it over, bare minimum. Even though I think a better look for a Yoshi track would have been something closer to Ribbon Road, actually, with a very felt vibe. As for Splatoon, was anyone expecting for them to just remake the Splatoon 1 hub, or more accurately, probably port the Splatoon 1 hub? I'm definitely going to mostly be using that when it drops, because it will probably run at 60 frames per second. And also, honestly, I don't like the Splatoon 3 hub. It's way too big. I can never find where anything is. The frame rate's choppy. I'm not a frame rate person, but I would like my game to be a same frame rate no matter where you go. Like, I don't really care for frame rate, but if your game's gonna run at 60 FPS, you can't just have the hub run at 30. You either need to have everything at 30 or everything at 60. I don't want a weird mix. And Wave 2, I am always for Splatoon solo player content. I vastly prefer the single player campaigns of the Splatoon games. That's me personally. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of people prefer multiplayer, but I really like the well-crafted, fun stories that are surprisingly dark. Like, dark. They're quite dark, I'll be honest. I really like them. Octo Expansion is one of my favorite campaigns in the Splatoon series, if not my favorite. The only one that gives it a run for its money is Splatoon 3's Return of the Mamamani. So, Team Order looks so intriguing and so fun. And I am so happy to be back at the Splatoon 1 hub. I have a ton of nostalgia for them. I love this thing, and I really hope it brings back more than just NPCs. I hope it brings back some of the features Splatoon 1 left behind, like local co-op, which would be really cool. I don't know. Either way, I'm excited for this, because we're getting something for both sides of the Splatoon fandom. And frankly, I think that's better than how they did Octo Expansion, since if you aren't a fan of the single-player content in the Splatoon series, you didn't have a reason to get Octo Expansion. But this is at least adding something for both multiplayer and single-player players, without making it so if you want to play the game well, online multiplayer, you don't need the DLC. It's a hard balance, but I think they're handling it quite well from what I've seen. Either way, I'm super excited to see what this is about. Etrian Odyssey, with its HD ports collection thing. I actually really like the artwork in this series. Like, the main artist is one of my favorite artists, so I'm excited for this. I really hope there's like an expansive gallery of the renders in this game, in this trilogy, because again, I really like the artwork. So I'm quite excited for these games, especially with the fact they said they're getting more artwork done. They're making more. More artwork is good. I like more artwork. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom finally has gameplay. I'm not joking. We have been waiting forever for gameplay. We finally have a decent amount of footage, and I'll be entirely honest, it kind of looks like a lot of more of the same, with a few quality of life features and becoming scrap mechanic for some reason. But here's the thing, that may sound negative. There's more enemies, which is really good. There were like 5 in Breath of the Wild, which wasn't that bad, but they did get kind of annoying. Like, Jesus Christ, it's you again. I like a decent way in, but I'm fine with it even just being more of the same, because Breath of the Wild is amazing. So even a game that's just more Breath of the Wild would still be incredible. And essentially adding enemy variety, something the first game severely lacked. A ton of new areas to explore, it looks like. And a intriguing story. As well as, it looks like you can explore most of Hyrule from the first game as well, with new enemy types. This game looks like more Breath of the Wild, which is completely okay, because I adore Breath of the Wild. I would still think, like, Tears of the Kingdom, like, 9 out of 10 game, if it was just Breath of the Wild, but more. And this game looks to be Breath of the Wild, but more. And slightly more than you thought it would be. And I was expecting a good amount from this game, so... Tears of the Kingdom looks freaking amazing, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Before I go on to the final topic of the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. Anyway, spoilers for the entire numbered Xenoblade franchise. The new hero looks incredibly fun, but more importantly, there seems to be a roguelike bit in thing. They directly compare it to one, and, if you see my Xenoblade playtime skyrocket from 200 hours until the final wave releases, assume I'm playing this. I likely will play some of this on stream when it releases, because a roguelike element to Xenoblade 3, which already is one of my favorite combat systems in the series, that just makes it infinitely more replayable. This game is already really playable. A lot of playable. I love it. The throwback costumes look great, and Volume 4. The reason I put a spoiler warning. Yeah. This sure is... Honestly, I'm gonna make an entire separate video on this. There's so much I have to say on, like, the 30 seconds we got. The few lines of dialogue. There's so much I have to say, and the one thing I will say for the time being, I am so happy that it is a sequel and not a prequel. Because Xenoblade 3 is ending. I have voiced my criticisms with it before. I still have those same criticisms. But one of my biggest issues with the game is its ending. It feels so rushed and so poorly done and not a satisfaction to this world that Monolith has built. And thankfully, we're getting a proper ending. So I cannot wait for Xenoblade 3 Wave 4. I hope we get it closer to the middle of the year instead of waiting till December or November, but either way, I'm certain it'll be worth the hype. Because this trailer alone, which is like 30 seconds and like 2 models, honestly, if they just showed Sho and his new design, I think I would have screamed. I likely, like, genuinely, this is enough to have made the whole direct worth it. This is the Pikmin 4 of this direct.